Hello, everyone. Welcome to Therapeutic Yoga today. We are going to do a yoga class today focusing on taking care of what is called your iliotibial band. Now, that's a big word. It's typically short name for that is the IT band. So I thought we would start the class talking about where the IT band is and what the common symptoms of IT band issues are, and then get started with some fun stuff with class. So what you're going to need for class today is your yoga mat, a yoga bolster, a yoga strap or some sort of belt, and then you're also going to need a bath towel. Now, if you have a foam roller at home, what I am going to do with a bath towel, you can absolutely do with your foam roller. But just because everybody may not have a foam roller at home, I want to show everyone how you can make a fake foam roller to treat any sort of problems with your IT band. So if you have a bath towel, what I would encourage you to do with me is to take the bath towel and fold it halfway lengthwise. Then fold it again lengthwise. And then from the ends that are loose, start to roll the towel so that there's not any free ends and you just have one solid line. You're going to give yourself about a 4-inch foam roller by doing that. So it's not as rigid as a foam roller. But if you do that with a bath towel, that is an excellent way to kind of work on doing some soft tissue work to the area that we're going to be focusing on today. Now, let's talk about the iliotibial band for a second. Ilio, meaning ilium, which is one of the bones of your pelvis. Tibial, meaning tibia, which is the bottom bone of your knee joint. And so the iliotibial band attaches from the pelvis, crosses the hip, crosses the knee, and attaches down to a shin bone. And so because of that, it is oftentimes a tissue that becomes very limited in mobility. It can therefore cause knee issues, particularly outer knee pain or outer kneecap area pain. And it can also cause issues related to the hip area, particularly when there's an imbalance between the muscles that the iliotibial band attaches to. So the iliotibial band is a thick, fibrous, ligament-type structure that runs from bone to bone. And so because of that, it doesn't have the ability to contract. So in the physical therapy world, people often talk about stretching their iliotibial band, but it's actually not possible. What is possible is to stretch the two muscles that the iliotibial band attaches to at the hip and pelvis area, and to get better movement of the outer quadricep muscle called the vastus lateralis, which is what the iliotibial band lays on top of. And so oftentimes that iliotibial band kind of gets sticky noted to the vastus lateralis muscle. So if you can get length of the vastus lateralis muscle and get play or movement of that muscle relative to the band, you can fix your knee pain, you can fix your hip issues. So that is our entire focus for today's class. So now that you have your rolled up towel, you've got your yoga strap, find yourself in a seated position on your bolster. And we're going to start with just a gentle breathing exercise, but let's see if we can get some nice, good, efficient alignment in sitting. So have yourself sitting so that you feel your sit bones on the bolster. Have your knees, if you can do that, to be below your hip joints. And so for some of us that have really tight hips, that might even mean that a bolster is not high enough. So you can put either something underneath the bolster or by all means be sitting in an elevated surface like a chair. We're just going to do a breathing exercise. So you don't have to choose a bolster if you don't want to. And then in this position, just gently allow yourself to tuck and tilt your pelvis a couple times, kind of waking up that spine, waking up the abdominal and spinal muscles, and then find the middle of the road of that position. And then once you've found that, allow yourself just to check in for a second. When you're in the middle of the road between your flexion and your extension of your pelvis and your lumbar movement, do you have weight through your legs? I have no weight through my legs when I'm in the neutral position. You check yourself at home, because if you don't have weight through your legs, it means you still have too much weight going down through your spine. And so what I want you to do is just at your hip joints, keep the spine perfectly still and just gently tip your body forward by hinging at your hips. Now I cannot pick up my legs. I know there's weight into my legs. Lengthen your spine nice and tall. And then let's just kind of do a little pivot prone to open up through our upper chest and get our shoulder blades in a good position. So take your hands and place them at the center of your chest. And take a nice deep inhale and lift your arms up. Turn your palms to the ceiling. Give a good stretch there as you hold your breath. And then as you exhale, bring your hands all the way down as far as you can. Squeeze between those shoulder blades and then just lay your hands either palm up or palm down on your legs. Now that you have that position, lengthen through your neck, settle through your chin. Rest your tongue on the roof of your mouth. And if it's comfortable for you today, feel free just to go ahead and close your eyes. So we're going to do just an easy breathing exercise where we count our inhale and count our exhale. So breathing only through the nose and trying to breathe down into that diaphragm belly area. Just take a nice inhale for 3, 2, 1. Hold your breath. 3, 2, 1. Exhale slowly through that nose for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhaling, 3, 2, 1. Hold your breath. 3, 2, 1. Exhaling, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhaling, 3, 2, 1. Hold your breath. 3, 2, 1. Exhaling, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's do 2 more. Inhaling, 3, 2, 1. Hold your breath. 3, 2, 1. Exhaling, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhaling, 3, 2, 1. Hold your breath. 3, 2, 1. And exhaling, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Very good. All right, just kind of loosen up your body. Now, here's what we have to do today. We have to work through the play of this iliotibial band on our quadriceps. Then we have to stretch our hip flexors. Then we have to stretch those gluteal muscles. And after we've done all of that, we will end with stretching through these quadriceps. And hopefully all of those iliotibial band issues will be gone. So we're going to begin today actually using the towel. So what I want you to do, and again, feel free if you want to at home to use your foam roller, but what I want you to do is I want you seam of the towel, so that one single seam, lay that seam downward on your yoga mat. Once you have that seam laid downward on your yoga mat, what I want you to do is actually lay the side of your right leg onto the yoga mat. Now, if you've got any sort of right shoulder issues that don't allow you to weight bear through your elbow, there is nothing at all stopping you from laying completely down if you're using a towel. If you're using the foam roller, that's a little bit more difficult. Have your left leg bent up in front of you. Have the right leg that's laying on top of that towel straight for now. And then what I want you to do, it's a towel, so it doesn't roll very well. I want you to just gently slide yourself up and down that towel until you find an area of that outer quadricep area that is a little bit tender. I am perfectly on it right now. That tenderness area that you're feeling is an area of restriction of that quadricep muscle called your vastus lateralis to that iliotibial band. And so what we want to do is keep our hip nice and straight, and then take that bottom leg and bend the knee backwards and then straighten the knee. So as you bend and straighten that knee, you're pulling that quadricep off of that iliotibial band where you have that towel. It should feel tender but tolerable as you straighten and bend that knee. So keep doing that a few more times. If you all of a sudden start feeling like you're getting warm, that's a good thing. That means you're loosening up that muscle. And then straighten the right leg, straighten the left leg, and gently roll yourself over onto your belly. Now, the left leg can be off of the towel. The left leg can be on the towel. Whatever is comfortable for you, that is fine. We're only going to be here momentarily for those of you that have lumbar spines that don't like extension. But now what I want you to do is on that right leg, just gently roll yourself over onto your right hip and feel those areas of tension of that outer quadricep. If there's a particular area like a speed bump that you feel, stick on that area, and then once again, just gently work on bending and straightening the right knee. Remember, what we're doing here is we're just trying to get rid of areas where that outer quadricep muscle is kind of glued or sticky noted to that iliotibial band, because if the iliotibial band has movement separate of the quadricep, then there's not going to be any tension at the knee or at the hip. All right, so now that we've worked the front of the quadricep, the side of that iliotibial band, just gently roll yourself off of the towel. It is a towel, so it will have compressed, so you might have to retighten it and place it back down again. And then we just do it all over again on the left side. So once you have your towel kind of reformed, then gently lay the left leg up and over that towel. Have the left leg straight. Have the right knee bent to support you. Again, if you do not have stability or issues with your left shoulder and you're not comfortable laying being weight bearing through that left shoulder, you can lay yourself straight down, but just kind of move yourself up and down that towel until you find a nice, beautiful little tender area. I've got about 6 on this left leg, so for me, it's not hard to find a tender area. And then once you have it, hold and sustain that pressure on that tender area and work on bending and straightening bending and straightening that left knee. And so if you're feeling kind of like there's tissue popping and moving, that's a good sign. That's what you're loosening up. So just like on the opposite side, do that 5 to 7 times, just bending and straightening the knee as you're loosening up through those tissues. And then once you've done that, straighten the right leg, roll yourself onto your belly. Both legs can be on the towel if you want, but the focus is still on the left towel. And then left leg, sorry. And then in this position, with the left leg on the towel, just roll yourself to the left and see, is there a tender area between that quadricep and that iliotibial band? If there's a tender area, that's a restriction you want to treat, and then gently work on straightening and bending that knee. My left iliotibial and quadricep restrictions are so tight that as I am bending my knee right now, I actually feel my kneecap popping. Don't worry if that's happening to you at home. That means you're doing this for the right reasons. So again, 5 to 7 times. And then once you've done that, slowly bend your knees, bring yourself up, take that beloved mobilization tool known as your towel and get rid of it. We're done with it. And then gently check in that your knees are hip distance apart. Look back at your feet and make sure your feet look like they're hip distance apart, and walk your hands until your hips are stacked on top of your knees. Wrists and elbows are underneath the shoulders. Index fingers are forward, thumbs are inward. And then let's go through some cat-cows here. So take an inhale and let the belly sink. Let the tailbone lift, shoulder blades back and down, lengthen that neck and look up. And then as you exhale, pull the belly up and in, tuck the tailbone under, spread those shoulder blades, curl that rib cage, chin to chest, look into your belly button. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, sink everything down, lift that tailbone, really get that length through the front of your body. And then as you exhale, curl up into that cat pose. Feel that tailbone tucking, stretching as the belly goes up and in, chin goes towards that chest. 1 more. Inhale through the entire movement of cow pose, and then exhale and exhale and exhale through that entire cat pose. Now very slowly sit yourself back onto your heels. Let your belly come down onto your thighs, your chest comes down onto your knees, soften your elbows, and just relax your head down to the floor. Now, if your head does not make it down to the floor because of restrictions in your neck or rib cage, you can either rest your hands or you can use your bolster since you have that today. And just kind of let yourself rest here for a moment. In this position, take a nice deep inhale into your belly. And exhaling out. Deep inhale into the belly. And exhaling out. And then slowly coming up. Now, we have 4 hip flexors. We are going to be very specific to target 1 hip flexor today that is a muscle that attaches to the iliotibial band, and 1 hip flexor that crosses the hip and the hip and the knee. So number 1, we're going to work on stretching what's called your tensor fascia lata. And then number 2, laying on your belly, we're going to stretch what is called your rectus femoris, which is the only hip flexor that crosses both the knee and both the hip. So to begin, if you do have sensitive knees, by all means, feel free to take your yoga mat and double it or triple it or whatever you need to do to have a little bit of extra padding for your knee joints. You can also use some sort of viscoelastic or a silicone pad to kind of pad extra over the kneecaps. But we're going to be doing some kneeling work here, and you're going to use your bolster for balance. So once you feel like you have your knees where you want them, bring yourself up into a kneeling position and take your left leg and bring your left leg so that your left knee is stacked somewhere over the left ankle or the middle of the foot. Now, line up the hip with the knee. And then because we're going to be focusing on this outer hip flexor today, what I want you to do is, rather than your leg being straight behind you, I actually want you to take that leg and turn that leg so that your foot is pointing towards the back left corner of your mat. So there's an angle of the back of that leg. Now, once you have that, make sure that your pelvis is pointed straight forward. Some of us with tight ilio or tight tensor fascia lata hip flexors here, you're already going to feel tension. But in this position, now that hip is on top of the knee, the foot is opposite towards the back corner of your mat, and the left leg is lined up. Take your hand up onto the pelvis, also known as the ilium, now that you know that, right? Take a nice deep inhale here, and then on the exhale, really tuck that tailbone under. As you tuck that tailbone under, you should start to feel that stretch through the outer part of the hip. But we're going to make it even a little bit better today. What I want you to do is just to let your hip shear a little bit towards the left side. So if I face you and you see what I'm doing, my foot is turned inward, my pelvis is pointed forward, I tuck the tailbone under, and I just lean a little bit out to the side to really get a nice stretch through that 1 hip flexor that is often tight when iliotibial bands are present. So keep that nice tuck, keep that little bit of a push out of the hip. Let's do something with this right arm. Why not? Take an inhale, lift the right arm up, and as you exhale, side bend it over to the left. Now, I feel confident you're probably feeling a really nice stretch now. So keep that tailbone tucked under, keep that hip over the knee, keep that pelvis being gently pushed out to the right. Let's do 2 nice deep inhales and exhales here. So deep inhale into the belly and exhale out. Deep inhale into the belly and exhaling out. Beautiful. Inhale that right leg up as you get the pelvis back to the center, and then as you exhale, drop that hand down. All right. So nothing to do but to flip and do it on the opposite side. So I'm just going to turn my body so I'm still facing you, but we're moving on to the left leg now. So with the left leg, what you're going to do is make sure that you have the knee over the hip as you step the right leg forward. Make sure the right knee is somewhere underneath the ankle or the middle of your foot. Once you have the right leg alignment, I'm continuing to use my bolster just for balance. Why not? Make sure that you see that that hip did not fall forward any, because if it fell forward and this muscle is tight on you, you're going to miss the stretch. So then with that left foot, move it so that it kind of crosses your mat to the back opposite corner. Once you do that, you've got to pull your pelvis back around to the front position. All right, hand up onto that ilium, just like we did on the other side. Give me a nice deep inhale, and on the exhale, really tuck that tailbone under, and voila, you should already be feeling a stretch through that leg. But let's make it more specific to the iliotibial band today, because let's make it about really focusing on that tensor fascia lata. So just slightly shift your hip out to the left. That should exaggerate your stretch, but keep that tailbone tucked under. All right, now that you have all of those pieces of the puzzle, left hand, take a nice deep inhale, lift it up, and as you exhale, side bend it over to the right. Beautiful positioning there. Make sure you didn't lose your tuck. Make sure your pelvis is still slightly sheared to the left. Let's breathe here. So nice deep inhale into the belly and exhaling out. One more good breath here. Deep inhale into the belly and exhaling out. Beautiful. Left hand, inhale it up as the pelvis comes back to the center, and then exhale that hand down. All right. So if you've got your yoga mat doubled or tripled, time to undouble or triple it so that you have a flat yoga mat again. And then once you have that, what I want you to do is to find yourself back to your hands and knees. Now that you're on your hands and knees, check in with your alignment again. And so just make sure you're knee distance apart, and then have those feet hip distance apart, hips on top of the knees, hands and wrists and elbows underneath the shoulders. Line up those hands again so that you get that good weight bearing through that index finger and the thumb. Nice, good 3 deep inhales and exhales again in this position as we do cat-cows. So inhale, sink the belly, sink the spine, shoulder blades back and down, lift that chest in front of your neck, good, look up. And then as you exhale, tuck the tailbone under, pull that spine, arch that back, spread the shoulder blades, chin to chest, curl that rib cage. 2 more times. Inhale, sinking the belly down, lifting the tailbone, shoulder blades back, lengthen that front of the neck and look upwards. And exhale, curling everything under, and under. And finally, see if you can inhale and keep inhaling through your entire cow pose. See if you can exhale and keep exhaling through your entire cat pose. Very nice. Now, we're going to be using the strap laying on our belly. So a couple of things I will say about that. One, take your strap and give yourself a lasso. So you're not going to be having to strap and bind. You're just going to need a lasso. So once you have yourself a lasso, you're ready to start to focus on getting some flexibility through these quadriceps and specifically this rectus femoris. So with your lasso in place, all right, take the lasso and gently put it around your right foot, and just take the strap and place it up your mat. Now, for those of you that are home with me and you have sensitive backs that do not like laying on your belly, time to take that bolster and put it back on your yoga mat, or just find yourself that rolled up towel or a pillow to place underneath your abdomen so that your back does not talk to you simply because we're trying to help your iliotibial band. All right, now, once you have whatever you need, slowly bring yourself down onto your belly. The strap should be on the right side of you. Once the strap is on the right side of you, just gently rest yourself down onto the yoga mat. You can kind of use your hands in a diamond shape between your index fingers and your thumbs and just rest the crown of your head down there. I'm just going to keep my head slightly elevated so you can hear me well. And then what I want you to do is to take that yoga strap and pull that yoga strap up and over your right shoulder so that there's tension in the strap as it is hooked up and around that right foot. Now that you have that, walk your feet together so that your knees are touching one another, and then slowly use the strap to walk the heel towards the buttock. Now, if you are at home with me and as soon as you start to bend your knee, the very first thing happens is that your knees separate apart. You absolutely need to be doing this exercise because you've got tension in the hip flexors associated with that IT band. So really try to keep these knees squeezed together while you're walking that heel towards your buttock. If you have pain in your kneecap, ease off on the position of your knee. This is not about your patellar tendon. This is not about putting stress into your kneecap. This is about finding your rectus femoris. So only bend your knee as much as is comfortable for you to feel a gentle stretch in the front of your thigh. Now that you have your knees squeezed together and you have your foot towards your bottom, take a deep inhale here, and on the exhale, tuck your tailbone under, tighten those abdominals, get that pelvic tilt as tight as you can, and voila, you should feel that rectus femoris in the front of your thigh, that one hip flexor that crosses the knee that oftentimes is a knee pain in the butt. Holding that tailbone tucked under, squeeze those knees together, gently keep that heel towards the bottom. Can you give me a deep inhale into your belly here? Then exhaling out, keep your tuck, keep your tuck, keep your tuck. One more deep inhale into the belly. Exhaling out, tuck, 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 tuck. And then slowly relaxing the leg all the way down. Now, in this position, bring your feet back hip distance. Don't worry about your strap. You're done with it for a moment. But what I'd like you to then do is to take your right toes and turn your right toes under. If the strap falls away from your foot, just move it away from your foot. That's fine. But turn those toes under. So what we want to do now is train the strength of our quadriceps a little tiny bit now that we've stretched out that rectus femoris muscle. So in this position with your toes turned under, start to lift your knee off the floor, straighten your quadriceps, push your heel away from you, gently tuck that tailbone under, and focus on lifting that kneecap as high off the floor as you can. Continue pushing that heel away from you. Feel that contraction of your quadricep muscles. Take a deep inhale here. And slowly exhale. Tighten that tailbone under. Make sure those abdominals are engaged. Deep inhale here. And exhaling. Beautiful. Relax the little right knee to the floor. Turn the top of the foot back down. Walk your hands underneath your shoulders, lengthen your neck, tuck your tailbone under, and slowly push yourself back into a child's pose. Now, as you walk yourself back into that child's pose, make sure that your feet are hip distance, your knees are settled. Bring your sit bones towards your heels, belly to the thighs, chest to the knees. Slowly drop yourself down.
Laying on our belly is not always the best thing for our low back if there's any arthritis. So we're going to take a break between both sides here. So in this position, just allow yourself to take a deep, slow inhale into your belly and stretch out that low back. And then exhaling out. Inhale into the belly. And then exhaling out. Now coming up into a kneeling position, taking your lasso, taking your strap that you're using that you've kind of done a lasso with, and then placing it up and around the left arch of the foot. Once you have it up and around the left arch of the foot, just kind of move the strap up the mat, just like we did on the opposite side, and just make sure it's in the position. And then slowly walk yourself back down onto your belly. Once you're on your belly, again, get yourself in a comfortable position, making sure that there's no tension in your low back. Feet are still hip distance right now, but we'll get to moving them in a second. And then take that lasso and bring it up and over your left shoulder, just so there's enough tension on the strap that you're ready to try this all over again on the opposite side. Now in this position, begin to walk the feet together, the knees together. Once you have the feet and the knees together, use the hands on the strap to start to bring the heel towards the bottom. Again, if you start to bring your knee up and your knees immediately widen, this class is for you. You have IT band issues, whether you know it or not. So just gently only bring your knee up until you get to the point that you can keep your knees together, or foot up, sorry. If you pull your heel towards your buttock and you immediately feel tension in your kneecap, give yourself some grace. So let go a little bit so that there is no tension in the kneecap. We're not messing with a patellar tendon kneecap issue today. We're trying to address the iliotibial band. So find a position for you that you feel gentle tension into your front of your thigh. Now, holding that knee bending, squeeze those knees together, use your adductor muscles. Take a nice deep inhale, and on your exhale, really tuck that tailbone under and feel that beautiful stretch through the front of that thigh. Hold that stretch through the front of that thigh, heels towards the bottom on that left side. Keep those knees together, keep that pelvic tilt. Give me a nice deep inhale here. And exhaling out. Let's do that one more time. Nice deep inhale in. And exhaling out. Then slowly releasing the tension of the strap, placing the legs straight, and then walking the feet that hip distance apart again. Once you've done that, allow yourself on this left foot to turn your toes under. If the strap comes off, just kick it out of the way. Keep the toes turned under. Now, in this position, lift the knee up off the floor, really engage those quadriceps, push back into that heel, tuck that tailbone under, and really train that quadricep muscle to know how to contract a little bit more evenly. Keep lifting that kneecap up, keep pushing that heel back, keep tucking that tailbone under. Let's do 2 breaths here. Nice deep inhale into the belly and exhaling out. One more, lift that kneecap even higher. Feel that quadricep shaking. Deep inhale in. And exhaling out. Release the knee, let the top of the foot flatten on the floor. Take your hands underneath your shoulders and slowly push yourself back into kneeling, making your way to child's pose. Now, before you go to child's pose, that lasso that you have, that strap that you have, you're not done with it. So just gently take it and place it next to your strap, next to your mat, so that you've got it. And then settle yourself down onto those heels. Make sure they're hip distance apart. Let the belly rest again down onto the thighs. Let the chest come down onto the knees, crown of the head down onto the floor as you soften your elbows. Let that back open from being on your belly, not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 times during this class. So give yourself really, really the opportunity to open up here. So nice deep inhale into the belly. Slow, slow exhaling out. Deep inhale into the belly. Slow, slow exhaling out. And then gently bringing yourself back up, allowing yourself to lay on your right or your left side. Have your yoga strap near you, and then gently bring yourself down on your side and roll yourself over onto your back. Now, once you're on your back, make sure you feel like you're in a nice, comfortable position relative to your low back on your yoga mat. And then once you're there, shoulder blades underneath you. Keep your knees bent. We're going to do a little quick opening through the entire gluteal muscles before we focus on that one part of the gluteal muscle that attaches to that iliotibial band. So let's take our right knee up to our chest. Nice deep inhale here, and on the exhale, pull the knee nice and close into the chest. Inhale, kick that left leg up in the air, and then as you exhale, drop that leg down. All right, so we're gonna play a push and pull game today. So here's what I want you to do. On the inhale, push the left leg down into the floor. On the exhale, pull the right knee up into your chest. Can you make sure that your neck is long and your chin is tucked? Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, push the left leg down into the floor. Exhale, pull the right knee up into your chest. And 1 more time. Inhale, push the left leg down into the floor. And exhale, pull the right knee up into your chest. You've got it. Then gently slide the left leg up. Release the right foot to the floor. And let's do it all over on the other side. So the left knee comes up to your chest. Take a nice deep inhale, and on the exhale, pull that knee up into your chest. And then with the right leg, inhale, kick it nice and long, and as you exhale, place it down on your mat. All right, push and pull game on the opposite side here. So give me a nice deep inhale, push that right leg down into the floor, and then as you exhale, pull that left knee into your chest. 2 more times for me. Inhale, push that right leg down into the floor, and exhale, pull that left knee into your chest. And finally, inhale, push that right leg down into the floor, and exhale, pull that left knee into your chest. Beautiful. Slide that left leg up and then release that left foot to the floor. Okay, now we are going to use the strap and get the other muscle that attaches, or muscles, my apology, that attaches to the iliotibial band. So when we think of the iliotibial band of the thigh, we've already worked on stretching out and playing with the quadricep component. We've already done the front of the hip flexor component, but now we need to do the back of where the iliotibial band attaches, which is the outer part of that gluteus maximus and medius muscle. So here's what I want you to do. Find your lasso again that you had, or whatever you're using for a strap. Take your right knee to your chest, and once again, loop that strap up and around that right foot. When you have that position, just take that right knee and keep it to your chest, and then just slide that left leg down on the mat. Now, in this position, take a nice deep inhale and kick the right leg straight. You want that knee as straight as you can get it. Use your bicep strength of your upper body to hold the entire weight of that right leg. And then slowly walk the hands up the strap, pull the leg up into the air until if you pull any more, the knee begins to bend. That is too far. So only go until your knee stays straight. Some of us, we can't even perceive that because our knee bends really low. So take a look and see that your knee is straight if you need to. Now that you have that, hold the strap with the left hand, take that right hand and come to the outside of that right pelvic bone. Remember, it's also called the ilium, and make sure that that right pelvic bone stays on the mat. You can even take your hand and sit on it if you want to, whichever is more comfortable for you. But in this position, take a nice deep inhale, keeping that pelvic bone on the floor. As you exhale, start to pull the leg across the body. Now, if your pelvis lifts off the floor, you are losing the glory of this stretch. So you want to be feeling this stretch through the outside of the gluteal muscles. If you at home have very tight hamstrings, particularly your biceps femoris, which is your outer hamstring, I certainly guarantee you, you are going to be feeling it as well. If that is the only thing you're feeling, drop your leg down so that you feel what's happening in the outer part of your gluteal muscles. Now, in this position, really focus on allowing yourself to push that right pelvis down into the floor. Take a deep inhale into your belly here. And exhale. Make sure that knee is straight. Push that heel away from you. Let's do 2 more breaths because that is so important to that iliotibial band. Deep inhale in and exhaling out. One more time. Nice deep inhale in and exhaling out. Beautiful. Inhale. Bring that leg up, and then as you exhale, pull that knee into your chest. All right, slide the left leg up and keeping the right knee into your chest. Just gently also bring the left knee to your chest. Unhook the right foot from the lasso and hook the left foot to the lasso. And once you have that position, just gently place your right foot on the floor. Now we're ready to do it all over again on the opposite side. So again, right now, both hands, or the right hand at least, are holding on to the lasso. First thing that I want you to do is I want you to really kick that leg out straight. Allow yourself to maybe take a nice good inhale and exhale and kick it straight, and use the strength of your upper body, your biceps particularly, to hold that leg up in the air and get that knee as straight as you can. Now, slowly walking the hands up the strap. Take that right leg for me, guys, and bring that right leg straight down onto your mat. Forgot to say that. Walk the hands up the strap until you find that point where, if you go any further, your left knee begins to bend. That is too far. So let go a bit of the strap, let go a bit of the hands so that you can keep that knee in a nice straight position. Holding the strap with just the right hand, take that left hand now down to that pelvis and really secure that pelvis down onto the mat. Keeping that knee straight, give me a nice deep inhale here, and then on the exhale, pull that leg across the body, but keep that left pelvis on the floor. In this position, you should be feeling a gentle stretch, or maybe more than gentle, through the outer gluteal muscles on the left side. If at home, the only thing you're feeling is your outer hamstring stretch, which is your bicep femoris, just lower your leg a little bit so that you can feel that outer gluteal muscle. A lot of us have very tight hamstrings, along with tight outer gluteal muscles relative to the iliotibial band. I want to make sure that you feel them both today. Now, holding that pelvis down, keeping that left knee straight, pushing that heel away from you. Let's go through 3 really nice deep inhales and exhales here. So deep inhale into the belly, and then exhaling out. 2 more times. Deep inhale into the belly. Exhaling out. And 1 more good one. Deep inhale into the belly. And exhaling out. And then slowly inhaling that left leg up into the air. And then as you exhale, bending that knee, slide the right foot back up the mat, and then take that strap, unhook it away from that left foot. You are officially done with your strap for the day. Throw it out of your way, and then rest your left foot down onto the floor. Now, we have done an excellent job at opening up through the outer thigh by doing soft tissue mobilization with a foam roller, or also known as a modified foam roller, your towel. We then opened up through that tight hip flexor that attaches to the iliotibial band, which is your tensor fascia lata. And then we opened up through those quadricep muscles, particularly that rectus femoris, which oftentimes is a little too tight relative to the knee. And then we stretched out those outer gluteal muscles that also attach to that iliotibial band. Now, here's the interesting thing about iliotibial band issues. A lot of times we can have outer knee problems, and everything we just did is not the problem. The only problem just might be that the gluteal muscles are weak. So that is what we're going to end with today, and we're going to do some nice, good bridging. So place your feet so that your feet are directly under your knees, so that your shin bones are as perpendicular as you can comfortably get them at home. Take your hands to your pelvis and tuck your tailbone under, flatten your back, and then tip your tailbone in the opposite direction, arch your back. Now do that a couple of times and find the middle of the road for your lumbar spine. What I mean by that is there should be about an inch difference between your low back and the floor in the efficient position. If you're somebody at home that has a lot of arthritis of your low back and you cannot arch your low back without pain, then allow your back to slowly flatten a little bit closer to the floor, okay? Now, place your hands into your abdomen area, that lower abdomen area, and start to brace and tighten those lower abdomen muscles. So as you brace and tighten those lower abdomen muscles, that will stabilize that pelvis and the spine so that you're not going to tuck and tilt as you go into your bridge, but you're just instead going to lift your pelvis and your hips. So keep those abdominal muscles nice and braced and tightened, and then take a nice deep inhale, and on the exhale, lift your knees away from you as you lift your pelvis off the floor. Now squeeze the gluteal muscles, but do not tilt your pelvis. So allow the abdominals and the gluteal muscles to co-contract here. Keep the tightening, keep the squeezing, holding here. Give me a nice deep inhale and a nice deep exhale. Let's do that one more time. Nice deep inhale and a nice deep exhale. And then slowly lower the pelvis down to the floor, and then relax the abdominal muscles. Lengthen your neck and settle your chin if your nervous system is getting nice and tight from you focusing all in one area of your gluteals. And then let's do it all over again. So go through your pelvic tuck under, flatten your back, and then tilt it in the opposite direction, arch your back. Find that range of motion that you have through your lumbopelvic movement, and then find the middle of the road for you. Again, if you've got lots of arthritis and it is painful for you to arch your back, flatten your back a little bit closer to the mat, but most of us should have about an inch space between our low back and the floor right now. And take your fingertips and your hands to the abdomen area and start to harden and brace your abdominal muscles. You shouldn't have moved your low back when you did that. Now keep that brace in those abdominal muscles nice and firm so that the pelvis and the lumbar spine don't move position. And the only thing that moves is your hips into extension, also known as strengthening your gluteals. Give me a nice deep inhale here. And as you exhale, push your knees over your hips. Extend your hips, knees over your toes, extend your hips, but keep those abdominals tight. Don't let that pelvis and that lumbar spine move. Can you give me a bit of a squeeze of your gluteal muscles without causing a tilt of your pelvis? All right, let's hold this here. Give me a nice deep inhale in and exhaling out. One more time, deep inhale in. And exhaling out, and slowly drop that pelvis back down. All right, now, some of you at home, their hamstrings might be talking to them if you have over-dominant hamstrings and really weak gluteal muscles. So before we finish our class today, let's just take a moment to open up through both sets of hamstrings. So just take your right knee to your chest and take your hands to the underside of your knee. And once you have that, take your left leg down the mat. Take a nice deep inhale here, and on the exhale, pull your right knee up into your chest, and then take both sets of toes and point them up towards your head. Roll your shoulder blades underneath you, lengthen your neck, and settle your chin. Now, keep that right knee to your chest, and with that right knee, inhale and straighten that knee as much as you can without that knee coming away from your chest. And then as you exhale, just relax. And let's do that 2 more times. Inhaling, straightening that knee, feeling that stretch through the sciatic nerve and the hamstrings, and then exhaling and relaxing. 1 more time for me, ladies and gentlemen. Lengthen the neck, settle the chin, inhale, knee stays to the chest, and exhale and relax. Excellent job. Now, slide that left leg up, release the right foot to the floor. And take that left knee to the chest, hands underneath that leg bone, and then straighten the right leg out on your mat. Take a nice deep inhale here, and on the exhale, pull that left knee into the chest. Shoulder blades are back and down. Lengthen your neck, settle your chin, and take those ankles and point those toes up towards your head. Now, keeping that left knee to your chest, start to inhale and straighten that knee and find that tension in the hamstring and sciatic nerve. And then exhale and relaxing. Let's do that 2 more times. Lengthen the neck, settle the chin, shoulder blades down, knee, keep it to chest. Inhaling, straightening that knee, toes are up. Exhaling and relaxing. And 1 final time, inhaling and straightening. And exhaling and relaxing. Beautiful. Slide the right leg up. Once the right leg is slid up, take that right knee to your chest. Hold that right shin bone with the right hand. Take that left hand around the left shin bone area. Take a nice deep inhale, knees and feet hip distance apart. Exhale and just gently bring both sets of knees into your chest here. Take a deep inhale into your belly. And exhaling out. 1 more time for me. Nice deep inhale in. And exhaling out. You've got it, guys. Beautiful. Left leg, place it down on the floor. And slide the left leg straight down onto the mat. And then take that right foot and place it on the left thigh. Take that left hand up and over that right knee. Take that right hand out to the side of your body. Now, keep that right pelvis on the floor today. So you did a good job of opening up through those outer hip muscles. So let's see if you really can get a little bit of an extra stretch here. So keep the right pelvis on the floor, even if your knee has to come a little bit out to the side. Take a deep inhale, and on the exhale, just very slowly pull the knee across to the left. Can you find that point where your pelvis begins to lift, but don't let it lift yet? Hold here for a moment. Take a deep inhale into your belly. And then on your exhale, start to lift the pelvis. Start to lift the low back. Start to lift the rib cage. Find your full spinal twist now. Lengthen your neck, settle your chin. Gaze towards your right thumb. Holding yourself here now, take a deep inhale into your belly. And exhaling out. 1 more gorgeous breath into that belly for me. And exhaling out. Bringing that head back to the center, starting at that right rib cage, bringing it back down to the mat nice and slowly, followed by the low back, followed by the pelvis, and then finally unrotate those hips and place the right foot on the floor. And slide your left leg up. Slide the right leg down. And gently place the left foot on the right thigh. Right hand to the left knee, left hand out to the side of the body. Now, really focus that left pelvis is entirely on the floor today.
I want you to one more time really embrace those outer gluteal muscles. So keep the left pelvis on the floor, take a deep inhale, and on the exhale, only pull your knee across until you feel that point where your pelvis begins to leave, but keep the pelvis on the floor. Embrace that opening through those outer gluteal muscles. Then take another deep inhale, and on your exhale, now start to lift that pelvis. Start to lift that low back, start to lift that rib cage. Keep that shoulder blade down, lengthen the neck, and then gently gaze towards that left thumb as you find that beautiful spinal twist. Nice deep inhale into the belly. Feel that air all the way to the belly, all the way to the spine. And then exhaling out. One more time, deep inhale in. Feel that air get all the way down there. And then exhaling out. And slowly bringing your head back to the center, starting unrotating the rib cage first, and then the lumbar spine, that pelvis, and then finally unrotating those outer hip muscles, placing the left foot on the floor, sliding the right leg up. One last time, each knee to your chest, hug the hands around those shin bones. Make sure your feet don't cross, but they're not too wide. Take a deep inhale here. Exhale, pull those knees nice and into your chest. Lengthen your neck, settle your chin, engage your biceps. Oh, for goodness sakes, give me the deepest breath into your belly you can here. And then as you exhale, pull those knees into your chest and let go. One more time, deep inhale into the belly. And exhaling and exhaling and exhaling and letting go. And then allowing one foot at a time to slide down to your mat. Finding a comfortable position of your low back. And then resting the left leg down to the left corner of the mat. And the right leg down to the right corner of the mat. Rolling those shoulder blades underneath you. Just gently resting those hands out to the side. Lengthening your neck, settling your chin. And allowing our body to be still, but we're going to still work on some breathing here. We're going to go right back to that breathing exercise we did at the beginning of class. So can you rest that tongue on the roof of your mouth? Slowly take an inhale in your nose. Let your belly expand for 3, 2, 1. Hold your breath. 3, 2, 1. Gently exhaling through that nose for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Again, inhaling, 3, 2, 1. Holding your breath, 3, 2, 1. And exhaling through the nose, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One more. Inhaling, 3, 2, 1. Holding your breath, 3, 2, 1. And exhaling, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now just letting your body be nice and still. Completely relax. Imagine you're laying on a soft piece of foam and your body just falls heavier and heavier and more relaxed and more relaxed and more relaxed. And then very gently start to wiggle some fingers. Very gently start to wiggle some toes. And then slowly open up through the wrists and the ankles.
Start feeling that movement through all extremities of your body. And when you're ready, sliding one leg up followed by the other, and slowly let yourself roll over onto your side. Resting onto your side for a moment, still allowing yourself a nice gentle inhale and a nice gentle exhale. And then using the top hand and the bottom elbow on an exhale, pushing yourself up into a seated position. Finding easy pose, tailor pose, whatever you want to call it. And then placing those hands in the center of the heart. Putting a nice, good smile on that face. I hope everybody in this class has the most joyous and pain-free knees and hips after today, at least relative to their IT bands. Take a nice deep inhale in and exhaling out. Namaste. The highest in me salutes the highest in you. Well, thank you for joining me today.